Gems and jewelry in the last 10 years has been showing a phenomenal growth, both in total volume terms. It has been growing at over 25% CAGR, partly because of the increase in prices of the raw material gold and diamond, and partly because the market itself is growing with the economy improving, purchasing per capita income increasing, and hence better prosperity means better purchases of jewelry. Within jewelry sector, what we've seen is the organized players have been growing at a much faster rate, which shows that the customer is looking for branded jewelry now, willing to pay a premium for that, wants quality, wants better designing and better ambience in which he or she goes and buys jewelry, which is a significant expenditure in her overall budget for lifestyle products. I think it's a major game changer in the sense it's making the organized retailers wake up. So it's a wake up call for them that they cannot be lax in their approach towards customers. You see on the weekdays, large organized retailers which primarily sell apparels totally empty, and because the same apparel is available on an e-com site at a 30% discount. So why should you go for a branded store where same brand is available on the e-com site? You expect it to provide a certain better ambience and environment to shop in, but surprisingly in some of the branded retail outlets of apparels and all product categories put together, you have the store staff which is not just bothered when a consumer walks in or walks out. So it is a wake up call for them to be more proactive, and I think it's positive. At the same time, it is nothing to worry about, because what's going to happen in the overall ecosystem is that the brick and mortar companies are going to come out with their e-com sites. It's already work in progress, and with their muscle power, with their strength of brick and mortar plus e-com, they will have a bigger strength vis-a-vis the pure e-com players. And you can see the reverse happening. I can tell you about the jewelry e-com site. There are one or two jewelry e-com sites which, having gone through e-com, is now looking at a physical presence to sort of substantiate, to get the touch and feel of the product category. Yeah. So I think it is. I think it's supportive of each other, because there's so much demand or pent up demand in the class 1, class 2, class 3 towns, in the smaller towns, which financially it's not possible to reach out to through a brick and mortar. Okay. And an e-com site of the brick and mortar company can be a major bridge to reach out to them. It's not gifting has become popular. Gifting was there. Jewelry was a good mode maybe to communicate. It is the marketing element by the companies to promote more of gifting. So that you prod your husband using the marketing inputs to say, why not give jewelry? So I think it's a very good marketing tact. At the same time, jewelry scores over other product categories because it has an intrinsic value even after using for 50 years or 20 years or 5 years. So from that point of view, it is a great value add. At the same time, what is a pressure on the sector is the fact that the younger consumers would splurge in a 50,000 rupees mobile phone without blinking an eyelid, and she will think 5 times if she's buying a 20,000 rupees pendant. So that's a challenge, and that's a major challenge. See, the Gitanji Group, as you know, is established in 1966. It is among the largest fully integrated jewelry company in the world. So we work right from being a site holders or special suppliers from De Beers, which is the largest diamond manufacturing company. So we buy diamond from the source. We cut and polish diamonds across many factories in India. We manufacture jewelry. We export jewelry, we export diamonds, and we also retail. So we are in the entire value chain, a $2 billion company. And not only in India, we have more than 1,000 points of sale, but in US, you'll be surprised, we have 104 stores. We are the fifth.
104 stores.
Yes, we are the fifth largest jewelry retailer in the US since the time the Gitanjali Group acquired Samuels, which 104 stores presence in the US. We have presence in Japan, about 34 stores. We have presence in China. We have presence in the Middle East, over 20 stores. So, not only in India, we have a well-balanced presence across the globe as well.
It's a homegrown brand, if I'm not
Gitanjali is a homegrown brand. The acquisition, the US retail has been through acquisition. The acquisition has been in the case of the Japanese business. Middle East has been the creation by the group. We are the biggest branded jewelry company in India, and 4 of the 5 jewelry brands sold, Nakshatra, Asmi, Jili, Sangini, they're all part of the Gitanjali Group. So our expertise is understanding the consumers, understanding the drivers to consumption, and making sure that we have an appropriate product across each category of driver, income group, the entire value chain. The numbers that has been projected and the numbers that have been talked about by the leading e-com players talks about the fact that M-com has grown from a 15-20% to a 55-60% for that category. But my personal view is that for a more involved indulgence products, you cannot see the product just purely by looking at the details on an e-com 3-inch by 2-inch screen. You need a wider screen, a bigger screen to really understand that product category. So if you're very sure about the product you're talking about, so if I'm talking about fixed product like say buying a particular brand of mobile phone, this model number, that's very, very specific. I can buy it off a M-com mobile site because I know what I want.
Exactly.
But when I'm looking at an apparel, when I'm looking at a piece of jewelry, you cannot really get that get-up, that feel, unless you see it on a bigger screen. So I think you cannot switch over 100%. They have to go in tandem. You might do the initial research on the M-com and want to sort of indulge and view it and mull over it before you take a call on a bigger screen. So they will stay part of it. We are expanding domestically in our branded retail. We are looking at further expansion globally as well because the global market for jewelry is quite a significant size. Not that India is not large. You'll be surprised to know that the domestic jewelry market is more than $43 billion, more than 2.5 lakh crores. That's the size of the domestic jewelry market. Global jewelry market is even larger. That's about $260 billion. So there's a huge potential for Indian brands to also tap into the global market. Domestically in jewelry play, the overall share, I said organized, has gone up over the last decade. The organized sector was 2%, national 2%, it has gone up to 6%. So that 6% of the 2,50,000 crores is Tanishq, Gitanjali and Reliance. So these 3 players are the national retail. The regional retails like Malabar, Alucas, Kalyan and so on and so forth, PC, they have gone to about a level of 17% today. So that is the market share today from barely a level of about 4%, 5% a decade back. And these mom and pop small outlets are the ones which have suffered.